Andor's first season shocked Star Wars fans with its gritty, mature storytelling, but Season 2 is about to change everything we thought we knew about Rogue One. Diego Luna recently promised that Season 2 will completely transform how we view the film, and that's because nearly every major Rogue One character is set to make their entrance. Here's every character you should expect to see in Andor Season 2. Let's first talk about K2SO, the sarcastic Imperial security droid who becomes Cassian's closest ally. His appearance in Season 2 isn't just likely, it's inevitable. When Rogue One begins, K2SO and Cassian have a long-established partnership, meaning their first meeting must happen between seasons. Alan Tudyk was originally announced to be in the first season, but plans changed. Now, Season 2 will almost certainly show us how Cassian reprogrammed the Imperial droid and formed their unlikely friendship. This relationship isn't just about adding a fan favorite character, it represents Cassian's growing skills at turning Imperial assets against the Empire itself. According to Star Wars canon, Cassian and K2SO met when Cassian was on a mission and encountered the Imperial security droid. Instead of destroying it, Cassian made the unexpected choice to reprogram it, giving K2SO a new personality and sense of independence. This moment marks a crucial development in Cassian's journey from someone fighting out of personal revenge to a strategic rebel operative who can see potential allies in unexpected places. Then there's the political side of the rebellion where Mon Mothma has been working in secret. But she won't be alone for long. Bail Organa of Alderaan, Princess Leia's adoptive father, is practically guaranteed to appear in Season 2. Played by Jimmy Smits, Bail was a founding member of the Rebel Alliance alongside Mon Mothma. With Mothma under Imperial investigation and making questionable financial decisions, she'll need allies. Bail could be the one who finally convinces her to leave Coruscant's dangers behind and openly join the rebellion. Their scenes together would show the birth of the formal Rebel Alliance leadership structure we see in the original films. Bail's recent appearance in Obi-Wan Kenobi demonstrated his continued involvement in undermining the Empire, and his connection to Mothma during this period is well established in Star Wars lore. Together, they represent the political heart of the rebellion, former Republic senators who witnessed democracy's fall firsthand and are now working to restore it. Their storyline could show the transition from covert funding and isolated cells to a more unified rebel movement, possibly involving early discussions about establishing a base on Yavin 4. Season 2 will also need to address how Saw Gerrera and his partisans relocate to Jeddah. This opens the door for two fan-favorite characters, Chirrut Îmwe and Baze Malbus. These former Guardians of the Wills protected the Temple of Kyber on Jeddah before the Empire took over. Chirrut maintained his faith despite everything, while Baze lost trust in the Force. In Rogue One, Cassian seemed to already know about the Guardians before arriving on Jeddah with Jyn. Season 2 could show Cassian and Luthen visiting Jeddah to meet Saw's partisans, setting up an encounter with these spiritual warriors. What makes Chirrut and Baze particularly interesting for Andor is how they represent Force believers during the Empire's reign without bringing in Jedi or Sith. This fits perfectly with Andor's grounded approach. Their connection to Kyber crystals, the same material powering the Death Star, creates a spiritual counterpoint to the Empire's technological terror. Luthen's Sky Kyber necklace from Season 1 might even play into this storyline, potentially revealing deeper connections between the Rebellion and Force traditions. The relationship between Chirrut and Baze also offers rich storytelling potential. Donnie Yen's blind monk character maintained his faith in the Force despite the Empire's destruction of their temple, repeating his mantra, "I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me." In contrast, Jang Wen's character Baze became disillusioned, abandoning his traditional Guardian weapons for a heavy repeater cannon. Their opposing responses to tragedy, maintaining faith versus embracing cynicism, mirrors the larger themes of hope versus pragmatism that run throughout Andor. What about the villains? The finale's post-credits scene showed the Death Star under construction, which means one Imperial officer is bound to make an appearance, Director Orson Krennic. As the Death Star project leader, Krennic's inclusion would perfectly bridge the gap to Rogue One. Even a brief scene of him receiving updates on Project Stardust or addressing production delays after the Narkina 5 prison break would create a direct connection to the film. Krennic's ambition and insecurity make him a perfect Imperial villain for Andor's nuanced portrayal of the Empire as a bureaucratic nightmare fueled by personal ambitions. Ben Mendelsohn's portrayal in Rogue One showed Krennic as uniquely vulnerable among Imperial officers, desperate for recognition from his superiors and paranoid about others taking credit for his accomplishments. This insecurity drives his ruthlessness, making him dangerous in ways different from the cold calculation of someone like Grand Moff Tarkin. His appearance would also help explain why the Death Star program remained so secretive, with even high-ranking ISB officers potentially unaware of its true nature. This also creates the perfect opportunity to introduce Galen Erso. Played by Mads Mikkelsen in Rogue One, Galen was forced to work on the Death Star's construction, but secretly built its fatal weakness. Season 2 could expand on his story, showing how he sabotaged the project from within, and possibly even his initial attempts to contact the rebellion. Seeing the daily psychological torture Galen endured would add even more weight to his eventual actions in Rogue One, transforming him from a plot device into a fully realized character. His role as a reluctant Imperial scientist mirrors characters like Lonnie Jung from Season 1, people trapped within the Imperial system who find ways to resist from within. Showing Galen's methodical approach to sabotage would parallel Luthen's patient, long-term strategy for rebellion. It could also reveal how he managed to hide his true intentions from Krennic, who considered him both a valuable asset and something of a friend. Bodhi Rook, the Imperial cargo pilot who defects to the rebellion, could also make an appearance. Season 2 might show him during his Imperial service days, possibly delivering supplies to the Death Star construction site. This could even explain how he first connected with Galen Erso before deciding to betray the Empire. Bodhi's journey from Imperial loyalist to nervous defector would mirror Cassian's own transformation from self-interested survivor to committed revolutionary. Riz Ahmed's character in Rogue One was defined by his anxiety and courage existing simultaneously. He was terrified but acted anyway. Season 2 could show the early seeds of his discontent with the Empire, perhaps witnessing firsthand the exploitation and cruelty that eventually leads him to risk everything by defecting. His role as a cargo pilot gives the show a perfect excuse to explore different Imperial facilities and possibly reveal how information flows between Imperial installations. The most challenging character to include would be Jyn Erso, and in Rogue One, she's introduced as an Imperial prisoner, the rebellion specifically seeking her out. Season 2 could briefly show the rebels' search for Galen's daughter, setting up the rescue mission that starts Rogue One. While a major role seems unlikely, even a brief appearance would create a satisfying connection. Perhaps we might see intelligence reports about her criminal activities, or glimpses of her survival on the fringes of the galaxy that led to her imprisonment. We could also see General Draven and General Merrick as the formal rebellion structure takes shape, showing how military command evolved from Luthen's secretive network to the organized structure seen in Rogue One. And the original trilogy, General Draven, portrayed by Alistair Petrie, was Cassian's direct superior, who ordered him to assassinate Galen Erso rather than extract him. His hardline approach to rebellion would make him an interesting counterpoint to Mon Mothma's more principled stance, showing the internal conflicts within the rebellion itself. General Merrick, the Blue Squadron leader, played by Ben Daniels, would represent the growing air power of the rebellion as they acquire more starfighters and begin mounting larger operations. Tivik, the informant from Rogue One's opening scene, is almost certainly going to appear to set up that crucial meeting with Cassian. This would be particularly powerful as viewers would understand the full context of Cassian's difficult decision to kill him, something that shocked audiences in Rogue One without the background that Andor has now provided. Season 2 could show how their informant relationship began and the type of intelligence Tivik provided, making his eventual fate even more impactful. This storyline would also demonstrate how Cassian became known as one of the rebellion's most effective intelligence officers, capable of maintaining networks of informants across Imperial territory. And what about higher-ranking Imperials? While not confirmed, there's speculation that even Emperor Palpatine himself could make an appearance. However, this seems unlikely given Andor's grounded approach. The mere mention of his name and the fear it inspires would be more in line with the show's tone. Similarly, Grand Admiral Thrawn would fit the narrative of hunting hunting down rebel cells, but his introduction would likely overshadow everything else, and is probably being saved for the Mandalorian era shows. As Season 2 covers the 4 crucial years leading directly into Rogue One, we'll witness Cassian's transformation from reluctant revolutionary to dedicated rebel captain. We'll see how the scattered rebel cells unite into the alliance we know from the original trilogy. The Death Star will near completion, with Imperial confidence growing as their ultimate weapon takes shape. And all these characters, heroes, villains, and those caught in between will move into position for the desperate mission that changes everything. What makes Andor stand out from other Star Wars shows is its focus on ordinary people pushed to extraordinary actions. Season 2 will continue this tradition while seamlessly connecting to the larger saga. We'll see the birth of the rebellion not as a single moment, but as countless personal decisions by people like Cassian, Mon Mothma, potentially Bail Organa, Chirrut Beza, and even Galen Erso, all choosing to fight back in their own ways. But here's what makes Season 2 truly exciting. It won't just add familiar faces to check boxes. Each character will reveal new dimensions to the story we thought we knew. When K2SO makes his first sarcastic comment to Cassian, when Chirrut demonstrates his connection to the Force despite his blindness, when Krennic first realizes there might be leaks in his precious project, these moments will forever change how we view Rogue One. And that's exactly what showrunner Tony Gilroy wants. Season 2 isn't just filling in timeline gaps, it's recontextualizing an entire Star Wars film. By the time the final episode ends, the opening scene of Rogue One won't just be the start of a movie. It'll be the culmination of 2 seasons of character development, political intrigue, and sacrifice. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more related content shown on screen.